Welcome to the Renegade Health Boss podcast, where we push the boundaries of what's possible in health and wellness. I'm your host, Heather Gray, a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and certified bioenergetic practitioner. And each week we dive deep into the world of physical, mental, spiritual health, biohacking, relationships. But we're not just talking about the basics. I'm bringing you conversations with the true renegades, experts who are challenging the status quo in their fields, breaking barriers, and uncovering the real truth behind what it takes to live an incredible, joy-filled, and optimized life. If you're ready to step out of the ordinary and step into a life of extraordinary health and happiness, you're in the right place. Let's get started on this journey to becoming your own Renegade Health Boss. And before we jump in, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
You're already empowering your patients to lead healthier, more vibrant lives. As a practitioner, you're at the forefront of extending their health span, promoting strength, vitality, and overall wellness. It all begins with the right support, trusted, high-quality nutritional supplements. At MHP Vitamins, we provide premium, practitioner-grade supplements designed to support the unique needs of your patients. Whether they're fighting inflammation or boosting energy or enhancing immune function, our scientifically backed formula helps them thrive. As a trusted practitioner, your recommendations make a significant impact. At MHP Vitamins, we're committed to providing you with the tools to continue supporting your patients on their journey towards ideal health. The premium supplements are carefully formulated to target specific health concerns and deliver the essential nutrients your patients need to thrive. Dedicated to making sure your practice runs effortlessly by offering top-tier customer care, same-day shipping, and the efficacy of our new office and warehouse. Through our affiliate program, you can extend these benefits directly to your patients and provide them with trusted, high-quality products while building a valuable partnership that supports both you, your patient's health span, and your practice. Join the growing community of health professionals who trust MHP Vitamins to empower their patients' health journey. Together, we can support wellness, one patient at a time.
Yay! Let's welcome Dr. Rabin to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited. I was so blessed that I got to run into you before even the conference started, right? I got to jam out with you. We got to vibe in the line at the hotel, and I immediately, your energy is just so incredible, and I was just drawn to you. You don't look like the typical, big wig. You know what I mean? You're very on the down low. You're
Thanks.
very humble, right? And so, but for some reason, something told me, I was like,
That's
oh,
nice
I need to know him. And I'm glad I listened to that intuition, and I'm so blessed to know you and have you on the show today.
Oh yeah, it's great to meet you. It's great to meet you then, and it's great to be here with you now.
Yay. So tell us a little bit about you. Why did you get started in this type of field? What made you become a doctor? Let's hear your pain to purpose story.
So I guess I got started in this field because as a kid, I had very vivid dreams, starting when I was very young, from, I don't know, maybe as early as 4 years old. And most of those dreams were not bad. They were just dreams that felt very real to me. And I found myself referencing them in my life when I was awake. Like with my brothers, I would mention something that happened and they would say, "That didn't happen. What are you talking about?" And I realized instantly that happened in a dream, and when we were hanging out. And that was really interesting to me. And so when I started to get older, in like the 6 or 7 year old range, I started to occasionally have more nightmares. And I would ask my parents, what are dreams? And, they said, like many parents say to kids, dreams aren't real. Don't worry about it. They can't hurt you, because they didn't want me to be afraid of sleep. And that's important. But I kept having these dreams. And as I kept having them, and as they kept feeling very real to me, like almost indistinguishable from my waking life in certain situations, I just started to question the idea of what the word real means. Because if the adults are saying, the people I trust, to give me information about the world, are saying this isn't real, but it feels real intuitively to me, it feels real,
Are those the same
then
people that were telling you that Santa Claus was real?
no, they didn't tell
Okay.
me that Santa Claus was
Okay.
real because we grew up
Oh,
Jewish, so
gotcha, gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh my
Um,
gosh, what a pill to swallow. Your dreams aren't real, but Santa Claus is.
yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting, right? Like it's these things, it really makes you mindful of the things that you explain to children when you think about it, because children have this like wide open mind about experiencing the world for the first time, and they're not really judging it. And when you say something like, oh, this isn't real, then it means it's less valuable than what is real. And so there automatically starts to be like a judgmental process that's
A
being formed
gaslighting.
around, yeah, almost like a self-gaslighting thing, right? What's
Yeah,
intuition? Oh, I don't know, that's not real,
right.
right? Like it's gaslighting
Even though
yourself
you're
effectively.
feeling it, yeah, it felt very real. So then,
Right.
oh my gosh, start questioning.
Yeah,
Right.
so you start questioning what the word real means and think maybe the adults don't have it right. And then I started to like read, as I got older, started to read more science and neuroscience and psychology and philosophy and science fiction, of course, and just trying to like figure out better ways to understand how we think and how we make meaning from the world. And then I found a real fascination with neuroscience and stress, because stress impacts our dreams, it impacts the way we make meaning from the world. It is a huge public health problem that causes basically all disease in large part. And so and we don't have really good ways to address it. And so chronic stress is like the main killer in the world. So that became really interesting to me as a way to actually study consciousness without saying that I was studying consciousness, because at that time, back in the early aughts, right, we didn't have a very popular field of consciousness in the scientific community. Most of the people who studied consciousness were like these esoteric people, and they were doing incredible work. At the same time, we just didn't have like it was hard to get a job, basically, right? As somebody who says they study consciousness. So realizing that I could study medicine and actually help people in practice, I could treat people and then get the insights from treating people to help me understand the human experience better and what people were actually struggling with, because scientific studies only cover what scientific studies cover. Then there's the rest of the human experience that's missed, right? And so as I started to see that, I realized that you know, neuroscience of stress as an entry point was really interesting. And starting with cells all the way through full grown humans and animals and the way they all deal with stress, we know so much. And that led into my passion into mental health and psychiatry and psychedelic research, because it's kind of the forefront, and wearable technology, because it's the forefront of what neuroscience has taught us about how we can now influence the body in positive ways to restore optimal functioning, which is something that many of us have lost because of chronic stress, right?
This is one of my favorite all-time topics, and that's why I fell in love with you so fast, is because it's just not talked about enough still. There's still such a huge stigma on mental health issues. I mean, I even put it in my stand-up comedy, right? It's like we need to stop calling people crazy. Instead, we need to say your brain inflammation is showing, because once you slap somebody with that crazy stigma, it's really hard to wash off. And that's also very dismissive and kind of gaslighting, right? It's like, let's take away all your experiences and you're just crazy. No, I had Lyme disease, I had mold toxicity, I had early childhood trauma, I had a leaky gut, I was eating a standard American diet. I wasn't crazy. Ugh. Anywho, though, I want to go back to your dreams and your nightmares. So tell us, if you will, like, did you have some earlyhood childhood trauma going on? Like, what was the cause of nightmares for such a at an early age?
I mean, it's turns out in retrospect, this is common for lots of kids, but I think, for me, the major thing that changed in my life that was hard for me was starting to go to school and being like picked on or bullied by other kids.
Mm.
That was a major struggle for me because it made me feel alone. It made me feel not accepted by the community, where I never had those feelings before I started going to school.
Uh,
And it wasn't all school. I think my first school that I went to was like when I was like really young, kindergarten or whatever, was fine. I think it was first grade. Actually, no, it was kindergarten, actually. Preschool was okay. Kindergarten was where it started. So it was very young. It's probably like 6, and it was the first time that I ever felt the feeling of being like excluded from the group. And just because I was like slightly, different than the other kids, but you know, I was new to the school. Everybody else had known each other before. So it was like, it was just really hard. And I think taking all of those emotions that got invoked and being a kid, not knowing how to understand those emotions, where do they get processed? If you don't, especially when, they get processed in your dreams.
Right.
That's where short-term memories become long-term memories, which is called memory consolidation, right? So this is like where this is the content. It's the emotional content of your experience and your past experiences that gets, and probably some other stuff from the subconscious that gets, brought into this content of dreams that happens during REM sleep, which is also where we get all of our emotional and like mental recovery, which is really interesting, right?
Dreams are so fascinating. My husband had one very traumatic thing happen to him when he was 7. His mother died of cancer, but he had a loving, supportive, amazing life kind of before and after. And his dreams are all like a sci-fi movie, right? They're like action packed, and he's like a spy and doing this and doing that. To where I was abused and bullied and neglected, alcohol addicts, drugs, you name it, horrific childhood. And my dreams are nightmares, nightmares, nightmares. It's just fascinating to sit at the table every morning with him and go over. I'm like, I was raped and this and that, and he was like, oh, I was on the moon. And I was like, God, how amazing for you to get to have that kind of wonder, those kind of flying dreams and wonder. And it's just fascinating to me at how the mind tries to work out traumas, right? Even in your sleep. Like it's fascinating.
Yeah, it certainly is. And can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm an open book.
So when you have those nightmare experiences that you have, what do you do most of the time? What's your response to the scary dream starting to reveal itself?
What do you mean, like in the dream or like after I wake up?
Well, do you try to get out of it and wake yourself up? Or do you try to engage, or do you engage with it?
You
Or
know,
do you
I
try to, like in the dream, do you try to engage with it? Or sorry, do you engage
it
with it or do you
seems like
run from it?
something wakes me up. It's usually like my alarm or something else kind of wakes me up and pulls me out of it. No, I don't typically try to engage with it. Or
Most people,
sometimes, yeah,
yeah, most people don't.
yeah.
But the thing about dreams that's really interesting
Oh.
is that they can't actually hurt you,
Right,
right? So as scary and real as the experience in the dream might feel,
right.
it can't hurt you. It is often coming from, except when it's coming from like subconscious content that's meaningful, that's meant to be addressed. So the question really is, just like in regular therapy or with regular emotions, when you feel unpleasant emotions, do you shut them down and run from them, or do you engage with them and see what they're trying to tell you, right? And most of us disengage or shut them down or numb ourselves to them, etc. Uh, but the way to process immediately in the real present moment, the way to process experience and feelings and dreams, bad dreams, so that you don't have them anymore,
Mm.
is to face them down. The only way out is in and through.
Even
You
with
can't,
dreams, unbelievable.
even with dreams. So this is in a lot of ways like, I don't know if you've heard of like dream yoga, but there's different techniques that monks do that teach them how to be mindful while they're even dreaming, sleeping. So
Ah,
it's like I would think about it like the extreme of lucid dreaming, where you're
right.
like fully in control still as if you were awake. And they do it through starting with like breathing practices and self-awareness practices and presentness practices during the day. And then they learn how to effectively be present in their dreams at night. So they're still getting maximal recovery, but they're able to train their brains to optimize the reconsolidation process and the information storage and process. And then of course the facing down the stuff that comes up, they're facing it down every time. They're putting the head in the mouth of the beast and saying, I know you can't actually hurt me. So
Right.
let's go. right?
Fascinating. Fascinating. Okay, well, shit. This is gonna be interesting. I'm just crying. It like I'm fighting back tears at the thought of it. So yeah, okay. Fascinating.
Yeah, well, so really scary, but
So, and
can't actually,
it's not
right?
scary, it's gross.
Or
They're
gross,
gross. They're like they're shameful, guilty, they're gross.
right? But that's coming up because it's in there. It
Right.
hasn't been processed.
Ah,
It's and it wants to be processed. So if it's not this is what happens in psychedelic experiences.
right.
This is why psychedelic experiences are so cool.
The last time I had a psilocybin, I shit you not, I sat in my freaking hallway on the floor in my house. My husband was like, "Let's go someplace more comfortable." I'm like, "No, I'm good here." But I did nothing but cry and cry and
Mhm.
cry. Like if you picked up all the tissues around me and weighed them, it was like 2 pounds of snot and tears. It was insane. And it's like that's been my experience with most psychedelics is I just cry.
Right, right. So not an easy experience,
Oh,
right?
no, they're
So
horrible.
that's a great cautionary tale for people who are thinking about using these medicines recreationally without guidance is that
Oh, absolutely not.
if you think about what happens when you have nightmares, psychedelic experiences are effectively like chemically induced dreams
Mm.
that you can guide yourself through if you know how or you're an expert. But having somebody sober who understands the space that you are entering to be able to guide you through it can turn what could be pounds and pounds of tissues without any like seemingly any resolution at the end to you as like back to yourself at the end because you've actually cried it out for a reason, and the reason is to process the grief, and you understand that you're processing grief, and that by actually the skill of grieving in and of this I talk about this because it's so badly taught, but basically grief is a skill of processing sadness and loss. It's a skill. It's not as much a feeling in and of itself. It has a lot of
Mm.
feelings that come with it, like the 5 stages of grief, right? Like the
Right.
anger and the denial and the et cetera. But the point is that they are that it is a skill to practice the ability to transmute sadness and loss into feeling like yourself again and learning the lessons or whatever it is that you can take from the sadness and the loss. You learn that through the process of grief. And the better we get at grief, the less of an impact loss has on us, right? The quicker we bounce back from loss and sadness. And then start to build like a force field. Like we can feel the emotion, but it doesn't knock us out for days or weeks at a time,
Right.
right? It doesn't interfere with our precious beauty sleep because it's processed. It can rest, right? So that's what psychedelic medicines with guidance allow us to do for people who have been struggling for sometimes decades with just like a few doses of medicine that are highly guided. It's very challenging to do that on your own safely with psychedelics. However, what you can do is you can do it in your dreams safely, right?
Fascinating.
That's our personal processing time. So like no one else can get into your dreams. You can't show them to me as your doctor if I was your doctor, right? But that's your personal processing time.
Mm.
So that's where anyone who's struggling with nightmares can start to engage in the practice of being more mindfully aware in your dream state where you sleep with the intention of knowing that when scary stuff comes up, you're not gonna run from it. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna get through it. And and it's interesting that you're just setting an intention that that's what you're gonna do when these things come up. That's enough to start the processing off.
That's absolutely fascinating. And no, I didn't even realize now that I'm looking back at it that my dreams haven't been as bad after doing, the ayahuasca journey and the 2 psilocybin journeys and the 3 bufo journeys and the, 1 month, 1.5 months of low dose ketamine. So no, that did take that edge off a lot of my dreams. I don't have near, or if they do, they're not as bad. I don't go as deep. So that's fascinating. This is a great spot. We're going to pause real quick. When we come back, I want to dive in deeper into the psychedelics, the Apollo Neuro device that you have, because like I said, I love these tools when it comes to unraveling, the brain and trauma and getting to the root cause of stress and anxiety. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When you're facing painful symptoms, a diagnosis of chronic Lyme, or an autoimmune disease, it can be overwhelming to navigate. You already know mainstream medicine doesn't have the tools to support you, and often even alternative medicine can become a maze of options without sustained results. Modern living puts significant stress on our systems. To counter this, we need a holistic approach, utilizing the latest technology and guided by physicians with decades of clinical experience. This is biological medicine. The Biomed Center in Scottsdale, Arizona is one of the most comprehensive clinics in the world, incorporating the latest diagnostics available, such as full-body MRIs, computer regulation thermography, heart rate variability, toxin screenings, and along with hormone and gut testing, they achieve the broadest look at all systems of the body. Customized protocols are developed by physicians who have treated thousands of patients in chronic disease by optimizing their biological performance. Save yourself years of suffering and searching with a visit to the Biomed Center, Scottsdale. The future of medicine is here.
Imagine having an extra hour in your day. With Carol Bike, it's possible in just 5 minutes. You experience what hours of traditional cardio can't match, thanks to scientifically engineered, AI personalized workouts. It's not about working out longer, it's about working out smarter. Every session is tailored to your fitness level, making it perfect for anyone, regardless of age or ability. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to precision with workouts that are scientifically proven to boost your health and fitness in 90% less time than regular cardio. Who doesn't want that? Less time working out and still get the amazing benefits? Yes, please. Scientifically proven to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes by 62%, lower blood pressure by 5% with just 3 short workouts a week. Feel the benefits of Carol Bike for yourself, risk-free for 100 days. And if it's not for you, return it and get a full refund. Carol Bike is more than a time saver. It's a life enhancer. Make sure to go to carolbike.com, that's CAROL bike.com, and use coupon code RHB to receive $100 off. Make sure to take the next step in your healing journey with your Carol Bike.
Yay, welcome back. Super excited. Holy shit. Has your brain just been blown like mine for this first half? Like, I knew you guys would enjoy this. So let's keep going. Tell us a little bit more about kind of your process and psychedelics and Apollo Neuro and all that fun stuff.
So all of these techniques around healing, whether you're talking about using the Apollo technology, which is vibration for healing the body, or whether you're talking about psychedelic assisted therapy, or you're talking about regular old psychotherapy, talk therapy, they're all rooted, and the whole practice of medicine really is rooted traditionally in the teaching that safety and trust are at the foundation of the healer-patient relationship, or the healer and the person who's seeking to be healed. And then there is a safety and trust, and that safety and trust is based on the premise that the healer is not responsible for your healing, as Hippocrates said, but that the healer is helping awaken your own ability to heal yourself. That the healing, the source of healing, comes from the person seeking to be healed, is how Hippocrates said it. So that, and Hippocrates being the forefather of Western medicine from 2000 or 4000 BC or something like that, long time ago. So this is, and we still take his oath, the Hippocratic oath, when we graduate from medical school. So this is the foundation of all clinical care, is safety and trust. If you don't feel safe and trust me as your doctor, you're not going to tell me the things I need to know to help you feel better, right? So that is the foundation. And psychedelic assisted therapy, psychedelic medicines like MDMA work by molecularly amplifying the safety pathways in our emotional brain that are the same pathways that are activated by having a person you really like to talk to, making eye contact with you and smiling, or that giving you a hug, or holding your hand, or holding a pet. All of those, or taking a deep breath, a series of deep breaths, all of those activities activate the safety response system in the brain. MDMA and other psychedelics boost activity in the safety response center of the brain especially when it's already activated. And so that's how a lot of the psychedelics work, is that they accelerate the therapeutic process by increasing the feelings of safety in the patient, so that the patient can feel safe enough to face down their past traumatic memories, like we were talking about earlier, and then remake meaning around those memories from the perspective of safety rather than fear, right? Safety rather than, it's my fault. Look at all the bad things I did. There's something wrong with me as a person. I'm a victim of everybody else's circumstance for the rest of my life, right? Like, you can actually feel safe enough. Safety is the key factor to be able to go back in, like you were saying, like we were talking about earlier, right? Your shoulders are going up, you're getting tense, you're thinking about your facing down nightmares, right? Like, it feels like your body feels that tension. And so, MDMA is the primary example, boosts safety, and safety gives us access to healing, physical healing, emotional healing, mental healing, all of it turns our body's recovery system on, the parasympathetic system that's governed by the vagus nerve. And so there's lots of natural ways to do this. Vagal nerve activity and recovery nervous system activity is, initiated by breathing, soothing touch, the smell of your favorite food on your mom's stove, right? Whatever it is, hugs, the ocean waves, out of ocean waves crashing, it's all activating that vagal nerve system. And so we wanted to see if we could use technology to activate that system safely for everyone in a way that they could just wear throughout the day. We built it based on the understanding of how MDMA works to improve safety in the brain. And it is called Apollo. And you can, if you have an iPhone, you can check it out right now on the App Store. You just download the Apollo Neuro app, and then wait about 10-15 seconds when you open it and click Feel Apollo, and you'll feel your phone start to vibrate at this gentle up and down wave, which is a sound wave that sends safety signals to your brain, just like getting a hug or somebody holding your hand. And it feels kind of like a hug. So when you hold it to your chest. So that's Apollo. And there's a wearable that you can wear that improves your sleep 30 to 60 minutes a night. That we have several papers coming out about, scientific papers, which is really exciting. And it's really like using technology to, our mission is to create technology to heal humanity. And the way that sound is so impactful and touch on the body is undeniable. It's backed by neuroscience, decades and decades of neuroscience, and it is safe for everyone. And so that's what Apollo is, and it's been a very exciting ride so far.
So you said Apple. When is that app going to come out for Android?
So the app is available for both Android and Apple. But if you want to try it right now, you can try the try it right now part is only available for iPhone.
Oh, gotcha.
Because iPhone has unlocked their vibration abilities on their phone, and Android has not yet. So we can, or not in the same way. So we can, gotcha. Basically the feel it right now experience you get on your iPhone. The wearables available for both Android and iOS.
Okay, cool. Everybody else, if you also want to look at the wearable tech, there's a link in the show notes. I think there's a discount code, so make sure to go check that out. And I just can't say thank you enough for an amazing conversation. Oh, let me see.
I'm wearing it now.
So oh, nice. That's it.
Yep, this is my favorite color combo.
Love it.
And this is called Twilight. And yeah, it has 2 buttons, and you can just tap the buttons, starts vibrating, and just gives you good vibes wherever you go.
That's fascinating.
And it also is the first wearable to help people have better psychedelic experiences. So we're being used with ketamine clinics around the country. We're doing a collaborative trial with MAPS for integration after MDMA therapy.
That's awesome.
And then we're also doing studies with other folks with psilocybin and ketamine for first responders with PTSD. So it's already in use, consumer product, and definitely recommend you check it out for better altered state experiences, whether you're in dreams or in your waking life.
I look forward to checking it out and slaying the nightmares that are. So thank you so much for everything that you do. You're such a rock star. Everybody else, make sure to have a healthy day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And as always, if you were inspired by anything that you heard on today's show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. That's the only way that we help change people's lives and get this information out into the world so that change can begin one person at a time, the way that it did with me and changed my life so many years ago. Make sure too, right, if you really want to start changing your life, it starts with your diet. It starts with what's on the end of your fork. And if you want to start making changes, go to my website, www.renegadehealthboss, RENEGADE, health, HEALTHBOSS.com, and download your free ebook, your free cooking guide, Real Cooking to Real Life. And in there, you'll also find links to the videos. Don't just learn what to eat, but why, right? Don't just learn how to cook, but the reasonings behind why I use some of the tools that I do, the toxins. You've got to lower your toxic burden, and we can do that in the kitchen and with what you eat. So make sure that you pick up that free resource. It's amazing. And while we're at it, we got to do a little disclaimer. Anything that you hear on this show is for entertainment value only. You cannot hold Heather Gray, the Lyme Boss, Discovering Health LLC, or Renegade Health Boss liable for any damages that may have occurred while you have tried something that you've heard on the show. The show also contains affiliate sponsorship and paid advertising, just a heads up. But to also know that no advertising gets on here without my approval first. It's usually products that I have tried and have my stamp of approval on it. So never fear when it comes to that. But yes, cannot hold me liable. Do not, this is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that you talk to your doctor before making any medical changes. And God bless. Stay tuned.